Hello. Good evening and welcome to today's program. My name is Tunde Disu. This platform is called Become a Better Man. And on today's program, we are starting a new topic. We're looking at a very unique topic. The topic for today's program is the concept of work-life balance. The concept of work-life balance. We all work, well, most of us, but let's assume we all work, and we all have a life. We have a life to live, we have work to do. And every now and again, we come to a point where one seems to be overshadowing the other. Especially, in most cases, really, it is the life that suffers. Because we tend to default, for whatever reason, to our work. And rightly so in some instances. But before I go into the details of today's topic, I just want to mention that when we talk about work-life balance, when we look at this concept of work-life balance, one of the things we must understand is that some people's work just puts an extra demand on them. Now, is that an excuse? No, it's not. But it's a recognition of the fact that the nature of some people's work, the nature of what they do for living, the nature of where they practice their profession, puts a special demand on them. And you can easily look at such people and think, oh, his life is out of balance or her life is out of balance. But the reality is, not because they want it to be that way, but because that is the line of their job. For instance, in my opinion, and some of you may not agree with me on this, in my opinion, the hardest workers in this world, the people that I believe are doing the hardest, the longest, the most tedious, the most demanding, the most strenuous, the most challenging work in this world, in my opinion, are mothers. Mothers. Their lives are, sometimes as men, we do take them for granted. We don't give them the due recognition, appreciation, and honor that they deserve and they've earned. If you don't believe me, ask your wife. Say you're married, whether you have children or not is immaterial. But ask your wife to go on holiday for 3 days and you're on your own, and see how you manage the house. God bless you if you have children. God double bless you if those children are still little children. And see how easy it is to manage the affairs of the house, to run the house, to keep the house, to look after the children, to make sure everything is working and not complain. So in my opinion, the hardest people as far as work is concerned in this world are mothers. And so you can look at their lives and just say, well, they don't have work-life balance, because to them work is life and life is work. But what we're looking at today about the concept of work-life balance is what you and I, what we do on a daily basis, how we run our lives, how we manage our affairs, how we go about our daily responsibilities, and how one side is affecting the other, and how we manage to keep the balls in the air, as it were, without dropping them. Okay, granted, every now and again you will drop a ball, but the core of tonight's program is Number one, is there such a thing as work-life balance? Number two, if there is a work-life balance, what is the formula for it? How do you achieve it? How would you know when you have reached a point where you have actually balanced your work life and your personal life? In preparation for this program, I did a lot of reading, studying, and just juggling and looking at what different people are saying. And my submission at the end is the fact that happiness is having little or no differentiation between your individual life and your professional life, your personal life. I don't want to use the word personal life because your professional life is still part of your professional life. So happiness, in my opinion, is having little or no differentiation between your quote and unquote personal life and quote and unquote your professional life. And one of the reason I say that is because different environments, different situations, different circumstances will cause you and I to react, to relate, to behave, to respond in a different way. Some people are happy bunnies at work. They are the life of the office. They just make the office happen. They are everything the office needs. But at home, they're either secluded and just in their own corner, or some of them are just terrorists at home. Once they come down, as soon as they hit the cul-de-sac coming to their house, everybody in the street, everybody at home knows. Even the cat knows not to mess around because he or she is coming home. Some people at work, they are loners. You can't get them to say a word. You can't get anything out of them. Their countenance tells you don't even think about it. Some people are as soft as banana at home, but at work, they're as hard as nail. So what am I saying? I'm saying sometimes what we call the difference between your work life and your personal life could be down to the fact that the environment, the situation, the circumstance, the people around you, they make you act and behave a certain way. Even though the house or your personal life and your work life seemingly are two different things in two different environments and in two different circumstances, another conclusion I came to is, irrespective of where you are, either on your professional side or your personal family side or whatever you want to call it, the truth remains that you are the common denominator. You are the common element between the two. And therefore, it is up to you to decide how you want your life to reflect, what you want your life to display, how you want your life to affect and touch other people. So it comes back to you as a person. When I was looking I tried to find a definition that will almost capture my personal conclusion based on all the studies and readings that I did. And one of the ones that I could find that felt reasonable to me was the one that says, work-life balance is the level of prioritization between your personal and professional activities and the level to which those activities relate to your job and how your job relates to your presence at home or your presence at home. So your work-life balance is the level of prioritization between your personal and professional activities and the level to which those activities as far as your job is concerned, is affecting or relating to the home side. So as you can see, work-life balance is a juggling game. You have to keep balancing it. And again, let me say this. When we talk about balance, when you say balance, I think we all assume that balance means both sides are equal. Both sides weigh the same. Both sides are the same size, the same height, the same shape, and all of that. And that is true to some degree, to a great extent, that is true. But the truth, the reality is, when you talk about balance, because your life is not something you put on a scale and you say, okay, I will take 3 steps. Does that equate to me hoovering the house? Okay, which one is heavier? Because you can't really weigh your life activities like that. It brings you back to the balance that you draw is how you manage the two, not necessarily giving both of them or giving each one equal amount of time and resources. Because if you do that, take for instance, you spend 7 hours, maybe 8 hours at work, actively working, you're in the office. Maybe out of the 8 hours, 6 hours, you are actually doing something productive for your employer. But when you come home, if you want to go by everything, have both sides having equal amount of activities, then it means when you get back home, you then need to find something that will engage you for 6 hours solidly, because that is the only way you can say you're balanced the two. So my point is, when we talk about work-life balance, it is a scenario where you ensure that the amount of your commitment to your work, the dedication that you give to your work, the total commitment that you give to your work does not take away completely your responsibilities, your activities, and your presence in the house, your presence with your family, your presence with your loved ones, with your friends, your presence in your social area, social part of your life, your presence with your spiritual part of your life, your presence with your physical health. You need to look at all of this in totality before you can start to talk about work-life balance. Work-life balance is balancing your work, which is your career, your professional goals, and your dreams and aspiration, and your life, which is your family, your health, your social and spiritual life, your self-improvement, and making sure that at every given point in time, one is not being left unattended to at the expense or because of another one. One of the challenges of today's work pattern is that we're working longer. The requirements and the expectations are higher. The time we have to deliver them are shorter. The resources at our disposal to deliver those things, they are fewer. And yet, the pressure is higher. And that is why one of the common features of people that work, especially in the city or in the financial sector or in all this high-pressured environment, one of the common diseases that they have is stress-related depression and suicide and all of that, because the demand, the expectations, the requirements, the pressure is high, the time is short, the resources are few, the number of personnel are few, and the space is compacted, and yet every day, every day, every day at work, you are being asked to give more, to do more, to give more, to do more. So, as far as work-life balance is concerned, there are three fundamentals that I want us to look at tonight. Three fundamentals among all the things that we'll be talking about. When it comes to work-life balance, the first fundamental is the fact that balance is subjective. Balance is subjective. What is balance to you might not be balance to me. What I regard and cherish as balance might not even come near your definition of balance. Do you know why? We're two different people. We have two different life demands. We live in two different environments, and there are different circumstances and so many things in the mix that differentiates you from me. So your balance, what you regard as balance, is not my balance. So balance is subjective. Therefore, each person, every one of us must find and define what balance is in your life, what balance is in my life. And if we're able to do that, it will take away the judgmental attitude that we have towards others about the way they're running their lives, the way they're managing their lives, the way they're running their family, the way they've become workaholic and this and that. Once everybody is able to determine and define what is balance to them, then it will help you to understand and appreciate what is happening in the other person's life as well. Let me give you an example. Say three people are working in the same place. One is married, one is single, and the third one is divorced. Just an example. You will agree with me, or I hope you will agree with me, that the commitment of these three people to the same job will be different based on their personal circumstances. The guy or the lady who is single, if the boss says, I think we need to put in extra hours, what am I going home to do? Yeah, let's do it. But if the boss turn around and say to the married person with little children and says, oh, we need to work on Saturday and maybe even on Sunday, he or she is going to look at the boss and say, sorry, sir, I already have a commitment with my family, or that's the only time I have to spend with my family. The third person, who is a widow or widower, again, they may have something else they've planned. Maybe they're visiting families or somebody is visiting. And when you look at these three people doing the same job in the same office, balance to each of them is different because their life circumstances are different. So number one fundamental about work-life balance is the fact that balance is subjective. Number two, balance is a personal responsibility. Balance is a personal responsibility. What do I mean by that? It is not up to anybody, any other human being or organization to balance your life for you. It is your responsibility. It is my responsibility to look for where balance is for me in my life, considering everything that I have going for me. Balance is my personal responsibility. You see, if you live the balance of your life, if you surrender that responsibility, if you yield the reign of that responsibility, for instance, to your employer, to your colleagues in the office, to your boss, your manager. That is the greatest mistake of all life. The reason I say that is this. No, there is not one corporate entity out there, good, bad, or ugly. There is not one of them that have your full interest at heart. None. I don't care what their name is, what sector they belong to. I can't be bothered about how long you've worked there, how many bonuses they've given you and promotions and all of this and all of that. You are as good as your last productivity. The aim of any organization is to make profit, to buy less and sell high, make profit. And in between, whatever and whoever is available will be used to maximize that aim. And in most cases, it's you and I, it's the workers that we have to be the donkey that carries the burden. Am I saying be irresponsible at work? No. Am I saying you shouldn't work? That's not what I'm saying. I am saying, for instance, one of the things I came across, maybe if I use this example, you'll understand. One of the things I came across in my preparation for this program is that some people, when they talk about work-life balance, they say, well, you know, on Fridays we can dress casual, wear t-shirt and jeans to work. Some people say, oh, in our workplace now, they've opened a creche so we can bring the babies to the office. Now, you think they have done that to help you. They haven't. The organization it's not about you. It's about them. The fact that now they have a creche in the office means the time you will have taken to go home and attend to your child or your baby, you are now spending it in the office, because what's the point? The baby is with you in the office. You could dress down and wear t-shirt and no tie and whatever to work on Friday. Your computer can't be bothered whether you have a shirt on or a tie on. For as long as you are there and you are churning those figures and you are clicking those letters, that's what matters to them. So don't let all these goodies, as it were, all these seemingly perks be used to make you think the office or the organization is balancing your life for you. They can take you on a golf jamboree for the next 3 years. It doesn't change the fact that they're still getting more out of you than they're giving back to you. So, number 2 fundamental about work-life balance is it's your responsibility. It's my responsibility. I read a book last year that really opened my eyes to all these things about the relationship between the employer and employee. The book is called Stop Working for Uncle Sam by Dr. Sunday Adelaja. I highly recommend that book. Stop Working for Uncle Sam by Dr. Sunday Adelaja. That book will help you to see what I'm talking about in this second fundamental. The third fundamental is drawing a balance or balancing your life will take time. It's not something you wake up on Monday morning and you say, my life is balanced. It doesn't work that way. It has to be given, and it has to be given time to grow. And that time, for that time to even grow and be effective, there has to be a plan. There has to be a strategy behind it. But more than that, the plan and the strategy has to be executed. So that you can say, okay, this is what I need to do so that in 3 years' time, in 2 years' time, in 6 months' time, this is where my life will be. So those are the 3 fundamentals I need us to understand as far as work-life balance is concerned. Number 1, balance is subjective. Number 2, it's your personal responsibility to balance your life. And number 3, balance will take time. Balance will take time. If I can get... The increase in mobile technology, cloud-based software, the proliferation of the internet, the advent and the use of smartphone, the fact that you can now just log on to your office at any time from anywhere and still do what you have to do. All this have made us, it has made it much easier for employees to be, quote and unquote, permanently at work. There was a time when you close at 5, that's it, tomorrow. There was a time when you sign off at the close of business. You don't think about work, you don't talk about work, you don't work about work, you don't dream about work. You just know today's job is done and I'm going home. It's not like that anymore. Nowadays, they don't even need, your boss doesn't need to call you. They've given you enough deliverables to know that when you get home, while you are eating your dinner and you say hello to your children, you are in front of your computer. Where you are supposed to be sleeping at night, you're lying down next to your spouse and you're reading the report for tomorrow's meeting. While you are supposed to just sit down and play with your children, that is the time your emails is going, your boss is calling, you are calling a supplier, and work never stops. And because of that, the distinction between your professional and your family or personal life, the line has been blurred out. Even though employers have responsibility for the health of their employees, because when employees become stressed, they are less productive. Even with that, having said that, it is still the responsibility of you and I to find that place, to locate where is that place where I can find rest for my soul, where I can find peace, where I can actually cut off from work-related life and log on to the other part of my life. There are 3 models over the years of work-life balance that people have talked about, practice, and examine and investigate and try to see which one works. There are 3 models. The first one is the traditional model, which is the typical 9 to 5 work that I was talking about before. The typical 9 to 5. Some of the characteristics, before I go into that, I just want to say, I need you to come with me as we look at these work-life balance models, because I need you to identify, to locate yourself. To locate yourself. For instance, if I ask you, would you say your work life is your life and your work is balanced? Most people say, yeah, it's balanced. But what is the definition of that balance? Where exactly are you? So as we look at these 3 models that have been practiced and have been talked about over the past few years, I want you to locate yourself. I want you to identify, be open and objective and be sincere with yourself, and identify exactly where you are in these 3 models. The first one is the traditional model, which, like I said, is the 9 to 5 model. And some of the characteristics of the 9 to 5 model is that they have clear boundaries. People in this bracket, they have clear line drawn where their work life stops and their personal life starts, where their office life ends and their social life begins, where their office responsibilities comes to an end and their parental responsibilities kicks in. So one of the characteristics is that they have a clear boundaries that defines the difference between their work and their personal life. Most people in this category of this traditional model, they lack passion. They lack passion, especially for the work they do. They do it to make money. They do it to pay the bills. They do it to get out of the house. There is no passion in it. It has become mechanical for them. Also, they don't like to talk about the details of their work once they're outside of the office. Once they're outside of the work environment, they completely shut it down. Most of them actually hate what they do, and they complain about it a lot. So be mindful when somebody is always complaining about their job and yet they don't want to let it go. Yes, they're not looking for another one. Yes, they are not even putting themselves forward for promotion within that work. That's a traditional work-life balance. They are typically stressed at work and they show no enthusiasm whatsoever as work is concerned. They cannot wait for Friday. As soon as it's Friday, they are the type that will say, thank God it's Friday. And I don't mean the restaurant. So that's the first model of work-life balance that people have practiced or are practicing. The second one is where there is actually no balance. There is actually no balance. And this is most of the people in this category of where there is no balance, they are entrepreneurs or they are techno geeks. They are computer weirdos. And they can sit down. These are some of the characteristics of these people who have no balance. They don't see their work as a separate entity from their personal or private life. Typical example, entrepreneurs. They see their work and their life as the work is the life is the work. They work very long hours and allow work to extend into their personal lives. They are the typical people that we will say, oh, are you coming to church on Sunday? Say, oh, no, I'm working tonight. So I'm working during the weekend. I've got a program I need to finish. And they have this typical excuse that says, I'm not available for anything apart from this work. For instance, some of them that are married or have children or have friends or parents that can virtually sit on their neck and get them off the work, when they are out and about in a social setting or gathering, look out for them. They are always on their phone, either checking emails or talking to another friend from the office about the work. They are consumed by their work. Most of them just love technology. They like to examine it. They like to open it up. They like to challenge it and query this and all of that. They generally don't care about how much they get paid in some of these people. It's not about money for them. It is not about how much they get paid. Even when you say to them, boy, with your talent, you could earn more if you could just go and do this or that job. To them, it's not about the money. In fact, most of them are afraid to look for another job. Do you know why? Because they feel this new job might not give them the freedom to play with their quote and unquote toys. This technology or this system or this program and all of that. So they are consumed totally. They are wrapped up in the work. And that is why I say they are in the category that says no balance. No balance. The third category of work-life balance model is the one that is designed and it's for a purpose. It is designed and it's for a purpose. This is a very, very good model. And this is where we should all be aiming to be and aspire to be. Some of the characteristics of this module is that the people in this module, they understand that life is a single entity. Life is a single entity. And work is just a part of life. Family is just a part of life. Social is just a part of life. The spiritual development is just a part of life. As far as they're concerned, there's no difference between the work and the social. Not in the terms of they cannot differentiate, but to them, it's all encompassed in one entity, which is their life. Most of the people in this category, they have a clearly identified and defined goal and meaning for their lives. So whatever they are doing that you call work, whatever they are doing that you call social, whatever they are doing that you call personal, is all tailored towards that clearly defined purpose and meaning for their lives. As far as they're concerned, they work hard, but they also play hard. They don't mind spending long hours at work trying to fix an issue, trying to make something work. At the same time, they are not bothered about taking 2-3 days off work just to relax, just to be with their families, just to enjoy nature, to go into the woods and just walk about. Most of these people, they will bring work home from the office, but at the same time, they know when to say, do you know what? Let's close this book. Enough for today. What else is happening in this house? And that is why people in this category are usually supported by their families and their friends and all of that. Now, when you look at these three models, the traditional model, the no balance model, and the model of clearly defined and with purpose, you'll agree with me that the third one is the best. And that is why I said that is the one we all need to aspire and try to get into. Now, don't start condemning yourself if you're not there yet. It's a journey. We all are work in progress. We are on a journey to arriving at that destination. And like I say every week, we have a destination that we need to get to. We have a purpose. There's a calling. There is an assignment. There is a reason why we're alive. And this program, Become a Better Man, is put together to help us take on board some of the things you won't hear in school, some of the things you won't hear in church, some of the things you won't see on TV, just so that we can sharpen ourselves as we go along towards becoming the best that we can be and we're destined to be. So the question I'm asking is, of these three models, where are you? Where are you of these three models? And you know, if you are not in the third module, and you are not on your way to the third module, let me encourage you. That's where you need to be. That's where I need to be. That is where we all need to be. And when we get to that, life will be different. You see, we live in a world of do more with less. A very competitive world that we're living in. A world that is almost pushing the boundaries. A world that is constantly taking more and more and more from anything and everything around it. And that is the world we live in. But a few deliberate steps that you can take, that I can take, a few deliberate actions will go a long way towards bringing us to a place where we can truly say our life is balanced. Our work life and our personal life or social life or family life, there is balance, where one is not robbing all, or it's not taking away from the other. So what are some of these steps? These little steps that you and I can take to regain control of our lives and bring some balance into our lives. What are some of these little steps that we can take? The first one is we need to, and some of these are things we've covered in other topics, but it begs a question, it begs repeating. The first one is you need to find a way to prioritize. If you want to have balance, you have to force yourself to edit yourself, both personally and professionally. You have to force yourself to edit yourself, both personally and professionally. Because in most of the time when we talk of work-life balance, the accusing finger is always pointing at work. But do you know that there are people whose out of balance, it has nothing to do with work, it's their private life. It is their private lives that is making their whole life imbalance. So in order for you to take these small steps, the first thing you need to do is to edit yourself. Ask yourself those questions that you ideally would not like to answer. Challenge yourself. Put yourself under scrutiny and ask yourself, where am I in my personal life and in my professional life? What do I mean by that? Consider all the things that comes to you on a daily basis. The things that are competing for your time. The things that are challenging you. The things that you are having to deal with on a daily basis. Just look at all of them and decide, which of these do I really actually need to keep, and which of these do I need to give the left foot of fellowship? Which of these do I need to carry on having around me, and which of these do I really need to get rid of? You see, when you focus on the things that are important to you, and you're not doing the extra strenuous stuff and the seemingly important stuff, the urgent stuff rather, when you concentrate on the important rather than focusing on the urgent, you're beginning to set parameters and prioritize your life. It is a discipline. But if we all can put our backs to it, if we all can make the commitment to see it through, in no time, you'll begin to see and experience a different you. People around you will start to comment about something around you, something about you has changed. It is because you audit yourself, you edit yourself, you prioritize what's important in your life. The second step that you can take in bringing this balance to your life is, you must remember that technology, gadgets, they are good servants, but they are terrible terrible, terrible masters. They were designed in the first place to bring ease to our lives, to help us do things more easily. But gradually, they are taking over, they are dominating, they are dictating, they are programming our lives for us. They are not just tools that we have in our hands to use. They are actually ruling our lives, running our lives. And it's affecting both our work and our homes. So what do you need to do? You need to identify and establish that at certain times there will be no contact with some of these seemingly indispensable gadgets. I know of people, I know of families where it is a rule that at so point of the day, in the evening, every gadget, may be whatever it is, shuts down. There are families where at mealtime, when it's time to eat, no phone, no iPad, no television, no radio, no nothing. It is all shut down. Maybe you should do the same. Set up rules for your life, for your family, and stick with it. Now, some people will say you are inflexible and you are this and that. That's their opinion. It is their opinion. But you know what you are working on. You know what you are striving for. You know the purpose for which you are doing what you are doing. You don't have to respond to every email that drops into your inbox. You don't have to pick up every WhatsApp. You don't have to like and comment on every YouTube or Facebook or notebook that comes along. You need to be in charge. Take control of your life from all these gadgets. Number 3, learn to say no. Learn to say no. See, one of the challenges that we have is that we have all been beaten up so much we feel if you say no, it's not just rude, it's unthinkable. But you see, I said to people, you have the right to ask me something, maybe a favor or to a task to be done. It is your prerogative. It's your right to ask. It is my right to accept or to decline. And once you have exercised your right of asking, I too should have my own right to make a decision whether to accept or to decline. And whatever my decision is, you shouldn't take that personal. Because by you taking it personal that you asked me to do something and I said no, tells me you weren't asking me in the first place. It tells me you are saying it's okay for you to express your opinion, to express your views, to determine what you want, and to feel free to ask me. But I don't have the same liberty. I don't have the same right. I don't have the same power to make a decision for myself just because you are asking. So learn to say no. Learn to say no. There's a respectful way of saying no, of declining an offer that it really shouldn't cause any issue. If somebody said they are your friend, then they should respect your views and respect your opinion. But more than that, respect your decision. When you stop doing things out of guilt, you'll find more time to focus on the activities that truly brings you joy. See, most of the people that ask you to do things, most of the requests that people make of you, they do it in such a way that they want you to feel guilty if you don't yield, if you don't submit, if you don't do what they're asking you to do. But it's up to you to say, no, I'm not going to feel guilty. Fight the guilt fight. The guilt feelings, the feeling of, oh, I feel so terrible, I couldn't do that for him. Or I feel so terrible, I couldn't go to that party. No. Fight that guilt fight. Look, Superman and Superwoman, they are fictitious. They are fictional characters. No human being lives like that, where there's fire here, he's there, there's water there, he's there. No. It's a make-believe. The movies are make-believe. Don't let that deceive you thinking that's the way you should live your life. Real people can't devote 100% of their life, of their time to everything. It's only you, and you can only be in one place at one time. If you spread yourself too thin, you become ineffective all across the board. So stop feeling guilty if you miss, for instance, an appointment or if you miss somebody's leaving due, or you miss going to somebody's naming ceremony, or whatever. Whatever it is, make the decision, not selfishly, but make the decision that is best for you. Number 4, protect your private time. Protect your private time. I said at the beginning, no organization is out there to make you happy or because they like you. No. You are another tool in their hands. So don't leave the balancing of your life to any organization to do for you. So protect your private time. Once you have closed from work and you are now at home, be at home. I'm as guilty as charged. So don't think I'm talking out of the fact that I'm perfect. No. But we all need to do this. We need to protect our private times. Allow yourself to daydream. Just walk down the street in your neighborhood. Go to the park just by yourself. Sit down in front of the lake all by yourself. Commune and connect with nature all by yourself. These are your own private time, and protect them jealously. You see, sometimes those are the moments when you actually discover who you are and what your purpose is, what your purpose in life is. But if you allow other things to clutter into it, if you allow other things to choke life out of it for you, you will end up just wondering, what's the point of life? Another way, another little step you can take to balance your life is think about tomorrow. Think about tomorrow. Think about your retirement. Yes, today you are full of energy and you can go from ground floor to the 10th floor faster than using boat, and you can carry this. All that is wonderful. A day is coming. A day is coming when the energy will not be there. The ability will not be there. The opportunity will not be there. The resources will not be there. The friends and family that you are ignoring now, they will not be there. A day is coming when you will retire from this work that seems to just consume your life. If work is the only thing you do, if work is the center of your life, now I'm not advocating laziness and sluggishness. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying recognize the fact that there is more to this life than your work or your job or your business or your career, whatever you want to call it. If work is the only thing in your life, what would happen when you are made redundant? What will happen when that company gets bought over by somebody else and they don't need your service? But let's even assume that none of that happened. What would happen when you're retired? What will happen when you are no longer needed at that job? You need to have other interests in your life now. Build relationships. Mend broken ones. Invest in other people. Invest in other things. Be involved with other activities apart from this work. You see, one of the things I learned a long time ago is what one of my superior officers said to me. He said, "Tunde, let me tell you this. The purpose is always more important than the person. The purpose is always more important than the person." So I said, "What do you mean, sir?" And he said, in the midst of all of this that you are doing for this organization, when it comes down to it, to choose between keeping this organization going and letting you go, there is absolutely no contention. You are gone like that. The purpose of this organization is more important, will always be more important than you. Does that mean we don't value you? No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying if we have to choose between keeping you employed and keeping this organization's door open, you are gone. The purpose is always more important than the person as far as the corporate world is concerned. So if you live your life, if you enslave yourself to your work, a day is coming when that work will not be there. Then what would you do? Who would you play with? Who would you spend your evening with? Who would you call to go on a stroll with you? The same people that you've ignored for the past 22 years, they will not be there for you. The same family that you have not even bothered to look at for the past 10 years, they will do a walk on you. The same friends that you have no time to play with, to interact with because you have to work, they will make new friends. And unfortunately, that is why a lot of older people live a lonely life. A life where there is nobody to share the life with. Because they have spent their productive life buried in their work to the detriment of everything else around them. Finally, the final little step you can take to bring balance to your life is embrace the use of the off button. Embrace the use of the off button. What do I mean by that? Every gadget, every electrical equipment or appliance, they all have on and off button. And you need to find the strength to press it. find the strength to press it. Everything has an on and off button. Use them. Use it. Now, it might not be easy at first, but when you keep at it, when you work at it, when you put your mind to it, it will become easy. I've used this example so many times, and I'm going to use it again. Two people will leave their house to go and have a meal outside in a restaurant. They will get to the restaurant, place the order, and they won't talk to each other, and the two of them will be buried in their phones as if they went there for social time, for interaction time. I read recently, I think it was in LinkedIn, that there's a restaurant now that gives people discount if they will submit their mobile phones at the point of entry before they place the order for their food. That way, they are not distracted by the mobile phones. They are now focused on not just the food, but on the people they are dining with. I think it's a wonderful idea. Don't bring your mobile phone to the dining table. Leave it in the bedroom or where you can't see it and you can't hear it ring. How many people have you seen there? They'll say, oh, we're going on holiday, we're on vacation. But they spend more time at work on vacation than they do even in the office. I remember once, one rare occasion, my wife and myself, we decided to take the family on a holiday, and we went down south, down near Wales or something like that. Without exaggerating, I received more phone calls while we were on that holiday than if I was in the office. It got to a point my wife said, do you know what? I think we should just go home. I said, why? This is just the second day. We still got 4 days to go. She said, look, you're not here. We might as well just go home. Embrace the off button. Switch it off. I went on holiday once. After that initial experience, I was on another holiday I went, and I deliberately left my phone at home, and I went for 1 week. The office was not happy, but hey, it's my holiday. But in that 1 week, I was able to process a lot of things that are personal and are close to my heart and relate to my family. I was able to just, as it were, travel in time to another planet and just be somebody different and not be defined by the work that I do. So when you're going on vacation, leave your iPad in the hotel or at home or whatever. It's a vacation. It's a holiday. It's a break time. It's the weekend. It's bank holiday, for crying out loud. Protect your private time and embrace the off button. When you do this, when you embrace this ability to press the off button, to switch off and disconnect and regain some of your private time, the following things will happen. One of life's greatest gifts will become a reality to you. It's called perspective. You will have the ability to think clearly, to see clearly, to imagine, to let your mind just wander to faraway land. In that moment, you will think of the challenges that are facing you, that you have never even given time to think about how you're going to resolve them. No wonder they're staying there forever. But at that instance, when you've switched off, when you have regained control of your private time, as you meditate, as you think on these challenges, your mind will come up with solutions and how to resolve them. When you shut down, you will give yourself the freedom to be more analytical, to be more focused and less emotional when you're dealing with issues, when you're handling matters. It just gives you a breeze. It gives you the opportunity to see life differently. It helps you to think rather than just diving in, trying to do this. No, you process it. And in so doing, you become a better person. You are more productive. Your results are more tangible, more quantifiable. The effect and the impacts are so fun, so great. You want to do it again and again and again and again because of the difference that it will make in your life. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about work-life balance, when we talk about balancing your life and your work, we're not saying the two should weigh the same. We're saying put things in perspective. Put things in perspective. And as you do that, you become a better you. And it will help you to be more productive even at work. It will help you to be more connected even at home. Your relationships will improve and get better. Your health will become better. Your intellect, your body system, everything about and around you, your spiritual life will grow when you are able to bring sense and balance to your life and the activities in your life. Thank you so much for all of you that have been part of this program tonight. If you have not shared this program, let me encourage you to click and share it so that others can benefit from it. I know it seems like there's so much crammed into it, but the truth is, this is where we live. This is where we are. This is what we are all grappling with and trying to make sense of. And I hope some of the materials that we've used tonight, some of the things we've talked about tonight, will help you to bring that balance, to usher in that peace, to release you to become all that you are made to be. Because there's more to your life than the work you do and the office where you do it. There's a whole lot more to you. Thank you so much for your time tonight. It's been an honor. It's been a blessing. I appreciate you. I honor you. And remember, we have a purpose. And part of what we're doing is helping us to be at the right place and at the right time in the right frame of mind as we approach this destination that God has for us. Because I am convinced, I know it like I know my name. There's a purpose in this. There's a destination for us. There's a goal that is set before us. And we want to get there, ready, prepared to take the full advantage and be the best in everything that we're destined to be. So until next week when we meet again, this is Tunde Disu saying, don't give up now. Don't give up now. Don't let life pull you down. Bible says a righteous man may fall 7 times, but he will get up again. Whatever life has heaped on you that is pulling you down, that is trying to choke even life out of you, Just shake it off and rise up again, because there's a destiny in your life. Until next week when we meet again, God bless you. Have a blessed evening. Bye-bye.